Here now, Ari Fleischer, former White House press secretary and Fox News contributor, and Juan Williams, Fox News political analyst and co-host of The Five. You also have the White House weighing in tonight, saying, subpoena, shmapina. I mean, we're not saying anything until there's actually some kind of process here under which we all understand how this is going to work. That is the way it happened in the Nixon impeachment process, in the Clinton impeachment process. Juan, isn't that a fair ask on the part of the White House and the Republicans at this point?
No, it's a strategy. I mean, it's distract, delay, all
Why don't
in
they
service.
want to vote?
They don't need to vote. They don't set the executive is an independent branch. We have three branches of government, and the executive does not set the rules for the legislative branch and its conduct of oversight of the executive.
It is fair. I think it's fair to say, just looking at this and looking at all sides, Ari, that when you're going to start subpoenaing and then, Mike Pompeo at the State Department says, well, no, I'm not putting my people out there. We're not sending anything. You haven't given us, you don't have subpoena power because you haven't started an official inquiry. We can't just make up the rules as we go along here. This is extremely serious stuff, and you're putting people on the line. Is he right or wrong, Ari?
He's look, here's the problem the Democrats have. You cannot complain that Donald Trump violates norms and traditions, and then to get him, you violate norms and traditions. There are precedents. Congress usually follows precedents. And here Nancy Pelosi saying the precedents don't apply to me because I just want to get Donald Trump. The American people want fairness throughout this process, and if it's not fair, the Democrats are going to be perceived as just going after him for bad reasons, not good ones.
But Ari, why is she doing this, in your opinion? And then I want to hear from Juan. What's her strategy?
The core issue is this has nothing to do with what the president said on his call to Ukraine. It has everything to do with the American people's call to Donald Trump. He won an election, and the Democrats never accepted the legitimacy of the election. Many liberal groups tried to overturn it in the Electoral College, but the margin was too big. More than 60 Democrats boycotted the president's inauguration. They have never accepted his election. They've tried to impeach him for everything every month of his presidency.
Juan. Why is she not going to put a vote on the floor if they feel so strongly?
Well, I don't think she needs to. I think that if this was just about politics, I think right now the polls show 4 or 5 Democrats could beat President Trump. But I think the larger point here is that, and again, I think you hear this from Republicans who have a conscience and who are not simply lining up blindly, that the president tried to pressure the Ukrainian government to dig up dirt on his political opponent.
You're not answering my question either.
Even today,
they don't have subpoena power. They don't have the rules in place.
They do have subpoena power. Are you kidding? Under impeachment, they have tremendous subpoena power.
It would be a much stronger force for them.
In
they're
other
not going to get any of this. They're not going to get it from the White House. They're not going to get it from the State Department.
Oh, yes, they will.
Because they're not going through the process the way it has been done in the past.
When this goes to the courts, under the rules of impeachment and the power of impeachment,
which they don't have right now,
they will absolutely clean the White House's clock.
All right. Do they have the subpoena power that they would have under an official impeachment hearing currently or not, as Andy McCarthy writes?
I take Andy McCarthy, a very smart lawyer's word on this. Andy McCarthy wrote, unless they have a duly appointed vote by the House of Representatives, they do not have subpoena power. And, of course, the only letters that have been sent demanding documents are just that. They're letters. They're correspondence. They're not even subpoenas because, as Andy McCarthy pointed out, the Democrats lack subpoena power without the vote.
But, and Juan, I've asked you this question a couple times, but why, if there is such a constitutional crisis, then do it the way it has been done in the past. We have the numbers for Richard Nixon. Put up the number that Richard Nixon got when he was going through this process. It was an overwhelming number. Republicans and Democrats all believed that it was time to go through the process. There's the Clinton number in October of 1998, 258 to 176 members of the House of Representatives representing the people all across America said, yes, please go forward. Please do this process. That is the will of the people. Why do we not have that now?
Again, the president and even the precedent that you are citing, Martha, is not setting the rules for this House in this political circumstance. So it's make up the rules as you go along. No, it is not. It is the rules, because what you have here is a situation, Nancy Pelosi said, there was a cover-up taking place. People are shifting.
I understand the reasons,
and so therefore she is persuading as well as going after this process
That's not an
and doing
answer.
it dual. Yes, you're saying, why doesn't she have a vote?
No, I understand why she wants to go forward with it. I'm saying, why doesn't she want to do it the way that it has been done in the past that gives the
This
American
is a
people
unique.
and the
I don't think. I
representatives
think.
a chance
I think
to vote
one
on
thing
it?
we can all agree on: we've never had a president like this, and we've never had a
Well, we've had
president
two
do
impeachment
something
processes.
so egregious as to say to a foreign government, "Interfere in our campaign,
You're
please."
conflating my question
Martha.
with the bigger issue of why she wants to do it. I want to know the political reason. I think it's pretty clear. She doesn't want a lot of her members to have to take a vote on this, and she doesn't want.
They've all
Exactly.
said
Tricky
a majority, a clear
Exactly.
majority of Democrats have said they want impeachment.
Yeah, so vote.
That's
Just
fine.
vote like we have in the
Martha?
past. Yes, real quick, Ari.
Let me jump in on this. There is a very principled reason why a vote is important. Impeachment is extraordinary. It should
Exactly.
never be made ordinary. And that's why if you're
Exactly
going to
right.
take this step, people should deserve to be on the
course they
record,
do.
and it forces their hand. And that's an important principle in
Yeah,
self-governance.
you can't just rip a president out of his office without going through a process that has been long established. And people deserve that representation from the people that they elect into the office, and they should have that vote, and they should not be afraid to take it if this is such a dire situation as they say it is. So
Well,
we'll see where
I
it
think
goes.
we'll have a vote on impeachment.
Oh, that's what we're all asking for. If that's they should do it.
No, I'm
What's your
saying
name
when
on it?
they impeach him.
They need to start the process. All right, guys. Thank you very much, Ari and Juan. Great to see you as always. Thanks,
You're
guys.
welcome.